My name is Brooke Sanders. I'm 29 years old and I've been a real estate agent for 6 years. I sell homes for a living. I help couples find their dream houses, negotiate deals, navigate the complicated process of buying property. It's what I do. It's what I'm good at. So when my fiancé, Matt, and I decided to start looking for a house together, I thought I had an advantage. I knew the market, I knew the process, I knew exactly what to look for. Turns out I didn't know anything at all. Matt and I got engaged about a year ago. He proposed at a restaurant, nothing too fancy, just the two of us. It was sweet, simple. We'd been dating for 3 years at that point. He worked in tech sales, made decent money, had a stable job. We got along well. Our relationship wasn't perfect, but whose is? We had our routines, our inside jokes, our plans for the future. Getting married felt like the natural next step. Once we were engaged, we started talking seriously about buying a house. We'd been renting separate apartments, and it made sense to find a place together, something we could build a life in. I was excited about it. This was my area of expertise. I could find us something great. I started the search like I would with any client, made a list of what we wanted, budget, location, size, amenities. Matt wanted a yard for when we eventually got a dog. I wanted an updated kitchen. We both wanted at least 3 bedrooms, one for us, one for a home office, one for future kids maybe. We agreed on a budget of around $450,000. That would get us something decent in our area without stretching too thin. I pulled listings every week, set up showings on weekends. We'd go look at houses together, walk through rooms, imagine our furniture in each space. It was fun at first, playing house, picturing our future. But after a month or so, Matt started getting less enthusiastic. "I don't know, this one's fine, but not quite right," he'd say. Or, "Let's keep looking, I want to make sure we find the perfect place." I didn't mind. Buying a house is a big decision. You shouldn't rush it. I wanted him to feel confident about whatever we chose. Then, about 2 months into the search, Matt started suggesting we split up the house hunting. "You're so busy with work," he said. "I can go look at some places on weekends when you're with clients. That way we cover more ground. I'll take pictures, narrow it down, then we can go back together to the ones I like." It made sense. I was busy. Weekends are prime showing time for realtors, and I was usually booked solid. If Matt could do some preliminary searching, that would save us time. I gave him access to the MLS, showed him how to set up alerts for new listings, told him which areas to focus on. He started going to open houses on his own, every Saturday and Sunday. He'd text me updates, "Saw 3 houses today, one was interesting but needs work," or "Nothing great today, but I have more scheduled for next weekend." I appreciated that he was putting in the effort, that he was taking this seriously. This went on for about 6 weeks. Matt would spend his weekends looking at houses. I'd check in with him about what he'd seen. He'd give me vague descriptions. "Nice place, but too far from your office," or "Good bones, but overpriced." Nothing ever seemed quite right. I started to wonder if we were being too picky. $450,000 wasn't unlimited. We might need to compromise on something. Then, about Tuesday afternoon, I got a call from a client. Her name was Patricia. She'd recently sold her condo through me and was looking to buy something bigger. I'd shown her a few places, and we were scheduled to see another one that coming weekend. "Hi, Brooke," Patricia said when I answered. "I have a question about that house you're selling." "Which one?" I asked. I had several listings at the moment. "Your house, the one on Maple Grove. I drove by yesterday, and it's so charming. When can I see it?" I was confused. "I'm sorry, what house on Maple Grove?" "The 3-bedroom you're selling, the blue one with the white trim. I saw it had an open house last weekend and I missed it, but I'd love to schedule a private showing." My stomach dropped. I wasn't selling a house on Maple Grove. I didn't have any listings in that neighborhood. "Patricia, I think there's been some confusion. I'm not listing anything on Maple Grove." "Oh, really? I could have sworn—" "Let me check the listing." I heard her typing. "Here it is. It says the listing agent is—" "Oh, it's not you. It's a Karen Mitchell. But someone told me you were the one selling it." "Who told you that?" I asked. "I ran into Matt at the grocery store last weekend. He mentioned you guys were looking for houses, and I asked how it was going. He said you actually found something you loved and were in the process of buying it. He showed me a picture on his phone, said it was on Maple Grove, and you were helping with the sale. I thought it was so sweet that you found your dream home. Can you send me the listing?" My voice sounded strange, distant. "Sure, 1 second." My phone buzzed with a text. a link to a real estate listing. I opened it. The house was beautiful, blue with white trim, like Patricia said, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, updated kitchen, decent yard, right in our budget. And according to the listing status, it was marked as pending, sale, under contract. I clicked through the photos. The house was empty, staged with generic furniture, nice hardwood floors, good natural light, the kind of place I would have loved to show Matt, the kind of place we might actually want to buy. Except I'd never seen this house. Matt had never mentioned it, and he told Patricia we were buying it. I thanked Patricia and told her I'd get back to her about showings. Then I immediately called the listing agent, Karen Mitchell. I knew Karen. We'd worked together on a few deals. "Hi, Karen, what's up?" "Oh, hi, Brooke, what's up?" "Hi, Karen, quick question. You have a listing on Maple Grove, the blue house?" "Oh, yeah, that one just closed, actually. Went under contract about a month ago, closed last week. Why?" My throat felt tight. "Can I ask who bought it?" Let me check. I'm not sure I should share buyer information," she trailed off, probably wondering why I was asking. "Karen, this is important, please." "Okay, but this is between us. The buyers were Matthew Sanders and Sophie Turner. Young couple, first-time buyers, really nice, very excited about the house."
Matthew Sanders, my fiancé, and someone named Sophie Turner. Did you meet them both? I asked. Yeah, they came to the closing together, seemed really happy. They've been looking at houses for a while, apparently. Matt said his fiancée was helping with the search since she works in real estate. His fiancée, Sophie. Not me, Sophie. Brooke, are you okay? Karen's voice sounded concerned. Yeah, thanks, Karen. I have to go. I hung up before she could ask more questions. I sat in my car outside a coffee shop where I'd been meeting a client. My hands were still shaking. I couldn't process what I'd just learned. Matt had bought a house with another woman, a woman named Sophie Turner. He'd told Karen that Sophie was his fiancée, that she worked in real estate and was helping with the search. He was living 2 lives, 2 relationships, 2 engagements, 2 house hunts. I pulled myself together enough to drive home. I needed to think, to figure out what to do. Part of me wanted to call Matt immediately, to scream at him, to demand answers, but I didn't, because I needed more information first. I needed to understand the full scope of what he'd done. When I got home, I opened my laptop, searched for Sophie Turner, found her on social media pretty quickly. She had a public Instagram account, and there he was, Matt, in her photos, dozens of them, going back 2 years. 2 years. He'd been with her for 2 years, while he was with me. The photos showed them on dates, at restaurants, on trips, at the beach. There were captions like, "Best weekend with my love," and "Can't wait to marry this man." She had a ring on her finger in recent photos, an engagement ring. I kept scrolling, found a photo from 6 weeks ago, Sophie standing in front of a blue house with white trim, the Maple Grove house. The caption said, "We did it, found our dream home, can't wait to start this next chapter." Our dream home, except it wasn't our anything, it was theirs. I felt numb, like I was watching this happen to someone else. How long had he been planning this? How had I not noticed? What was his end game? Did he think he could maintain 2 relationships indefinitely, or was he planning to choose one of us eventually? I looked at Sophie's profile more carefully. She worked at a tech company, not in real estate. Matt had lied to Karen about that. He'd probably said it to explain why they were so knowledgeable about the buying process, why they didn't need much hand-holding. I searched through public records, found the deed for the Maple Grove house, Matthew Sanders and Sophie Turner, joint ownership. They'd put down 20%, split the mortgage. They were fully committed. This wasn't some casual thing. They'd planned this, saved money, made a joint investment. Then I did something I probably shouldn't have. I called the mortgage company, pretended to be verifying information for my records. asked if Matthew Sanders had any other mortgage applications in process. The representative said she couldn't give me detailed information, but could confirm there were no other active applications under that name and social security number. So this was it. One house, one mortgage, with Sophie, not me. That's when it hit me. Matt had never been seriously looking for a house with me. All those weekends of searching were just a cover story, a way to explain why he was unavailable on weekends. He wasn't looking at houses with me, he was looking at houses with her, and then pretending to me that nothing was quite right, stringing me along, keeping me busy with my own career while he built a life with someone else. I wanted to throw up. I wanted to cry. I wanted to scream. But I didn't do any of those things. Because I'm a realtor. I'm in sales. I know how to keep my composure, how to smile through difficult conversations, how to negotiate when the odds are against you, and I knew exactly how to make Matt pay for what he'd done. I spent the next 2 days planning, gathering information, making calls, confirming details. I didn't confront Matt, acted completely normal. He came over one evening and we watched TV like nothing was wrong. He kissed me goodbye and said he'd see me this weekend. I smiled and said I was looking forward to it. Then I made my move. My real estate company had a big open house event coming up that Sunday, multiple agents showcasing their listings at the same time. It was a networking thing, but also a community event. We'd invited local businesses, potential clients, anyone interested in real estate. It was held at our main office, a nice building downtown, with a large conference room we used for seminars. I volunteered to help organize it, told my boss I wanted to take a more active role in company events. She was thrilled, put me in charge of the presentation schedule. Different agents would give short talks about their properties, about market trends, about the buying process. I scheduled Matt to be there, told my boss she wanted to meet him, that there would be food and drinks, that it would be good for him to network since we were planning to buy a house soon. He agreed, said it sounded fun. Then I did something else. I found Sophie Turner's contact information, sent her an email from a generic Gmail account, said I was from a local homeowners association welcoming new residents, invited her to an open house event on Sunday where she could meet other new homeowners in the area, learn about local services, network with real estate professionals who could answer questions about her new home. She responded enthusiastically, said she'd love to come, said her fiancé Matt would probably join her since he was interested in learning more about the neighborhood. Perfect. Sunday arrived. The event was scheduled for 2 in the afternoon. I got there early, set up name tags, arranged chairs, greeted guests as they arrived. My colleagues had no idea what I was planning. They just thought I was being helpful. Matt arrived first, around 1:45. He kissed my cheek, said the place looked great. I introduced him to a few people, got him a drink. He seemed comfortable, relaxed, had no idea what was coming. Sophie arrived at 2. She checked in at the front desk. I watched from across the room as she got a name tag, watched her smile at the receptionist. She looked nice, normal, like someone who had no idea her fiancé was engaged to someone else. She walked into the conference room, started browsing the property listings displayed on tables around the room. She was maybe 20 feet from Matt. He hadn't seen her yet. He was talking to one of my colleagues about mortgage rates. I waited, let her get settled, let Matt relax further. Then, at 2:15, the presentations started. My boss gave a welcome speech, talked about the company, introduced a few of the senior agents. Then it was time for individual agents to talk about their recent sales. I signed up to speak, told my boss I wanted to discuss a unique situation, a learning experience for newer agents. She thought it was great, encouraged me to share. I walked to the front of the room. About 40 people were there, clients, agents, guests, Matt sitting in the 3rd row, Sophie standing near the back. I started with the basics, introduced myself, talked about my experience, then I shifted gears. Today, I want to talk about trust in the home buying process, I said. My voice was steady, calm. Trust between agents and clients, trust between partners making decisions together, and what happens when that trust is broken. Matt looked confused, but not concerned. He probably thought this was just a professional talk. 6 weeks ago, I learned something interesting. A client of mine mentioned she'd heard I was selling a house on Maple Grove, but I wasn't. I checked the listing. It was sold by another agent to a couple named Matthew Sanders and Sophie Turner. I saw Matt's face change. The color drained. He started to stand up, but I kept talking. Matthew Sanders is my fiancé. We've been together for 3 years, engaged for 1. We've been looking for a house together, or so I thought. Turns out he was also looking with someone else, someone named Sophie Turner. And while he was telling me he couldn't find the right house with me, he was buying one with her. The room was completely silent, everyone staring. Sophie looked frozen near the back. Matt was standing now, but not moving. "Sophie, you're here today, right? The new homeowner from Maple Grove? The one who got an invitation to meet other new residents?" Sophie's eyes went wide. What?
Come on up, I said, not unkindly. You should hear this too. She walked forward slowly, looked at Matt. What is she talking about? Sophie, when did Matt propose to you? I asked. 2 years ago. Her voice was barely audible. And you guys just bought a house together? Closed last week? Yes, but I don't understand. I'm Matt's fiancé too, I said simply, or I was, until about 5 days ago when I found out he was engaged to you as well, and buying a house with you, while pretending to house hunt with me. Sophie's hand flew to her mouth. She looked at Matt. Is this true? Matt opened his mouth, but nothing came out. What could he possibly say? There was no explanation that would make this okay. Matt? Sophie's voice was shaking now. Tell me she's lying. He couldn't. He just stood there. I turned to the room. This is what I wanted to share today. A cautionary tale about trust, about due diligence, about verifying information. Whether you're buying a house or building a life with someone, you need to make sure you know who you're really dealing with. My boss was staring at me with her mouth open. My colleagues looked shocked. The clients and guests were silent. Matt has been living 2 lives, 2 relationships, 2 engagements. He bought a house with Sophie. He was stringing me along. I don't know what his plan was. Maybe he thought he could maintain this indefinitely. Maybe he was planning to pick one of us eventually, but it doesn't matter now, because both of us know the truth. I looked at Sophie. I'm sorry you found out this way. You didn't deserve this. Neither of us did. She was crying now. I thought, we were building a life. We just bought a house. I know, I said. So did I. Matt finally found his voice. Brooke, please, can we talk about this privately? No, I said. I think we've had enough private conversations. Turns out those weren't very truthful. This is crazy. You're making a scene. I'm making a scene? I laughed. It sounded bitter even to me. Matt, you've been engaged to 2 women simultaneously. You bought a house with one while pretending to house hunt with the other. I'd say you made this scene. I'm just revealing it. I turned back to the audience. That's all I wanted to share today. A reminder that in real estate and in life, things aren't always what they seem. Always verify, always confirm, and never assume that the person sleeping next to you is telling you the truth. I stepped down from the podium. The room erupted in whispers. My boss rushed toward me. Sophie was sobbing. Matt was trying to talk to her, but she pushed him away. I walked out, got in my car, drove home. My phone was ringing constantly, but I ignored it. Matt, my boss, colleagues, I didn't answer any of them. That evening, Sophie called. I answered. I'm so sorry, she said immediately. I had no idea. I swear I had no idea. I believe you, I said. I didn't either. How long were you together? 3 years, engaged for 1. You? 4 years, engaged for 2. 4 years, longer than me. He'd met her first, had been with her longer. I was the other woman. I just hadn't known it. What are you going to do? I asked. I don't know. We just bought a house together. Both our names are on the mortgage. This is such a mess. Yeah, it really is. We talked for about an hour, compared notes, pieced together the timeline. Matt had met Sophie at work, started dating her, then met me at a friend's party a year later, started dating me without breaking up with her, managed to keep us completely separate, different friend groups, different neighborhoods, different schedules. He'd told Sophie he traveled for work, told me he had family obligations on certain weekends. He'd built an elaborate system of lies and kept it running for 3 years. Sophie and I became unlikely allies. We contacted a lawyer together, found out our options. The house was complicated. They'd both sign the mortgage, both put money down. It would have to be sold or one of them would have to buy the other out. Sophie didn't want to live there anymore, didn't want the house they'd picked together. She decided to pursue legal action, sue for fraud, for emotional distress. I decided to just walk away, end the engagement, move on. I kept telling myself I was lucky I found out before we bought a house together, before we got married, before we had kids. But it didn't feel lucky. It felt devastating. The story spread quickly. In my real estate community, everyone knew within days. Some people were sympathetic. Others thought I'd handled it poorly, should have confronted him privately, shouldn't have made a public spectacle. I didn't care what they thought. Matt had made a spectacle of my life. I just made it visible. Matt tried to reach out several times, long text messages explaining himself, how he'd gotten in over his head, how he cared about both of us, how he panicked and didn't know how to fix it. I deleted them without reading past the first few lines. There was nothing he could say that would matter. 3 months later, the Maple Grove house sold. Sophie took her portion of the profit and moved to a different city, started over. Matt apparently moved back in with his parents. Last I heard, he'd left his job. His reputation was shot. Mutual friends cut him off. I stayed in real estate, kept doing what I do, helping people find homes, but I'm more careful now, more aware. I know that people can live double lives, can lie every single day, can look you in the eye and make promises they have no intention of keeping. I thought I was an expert. I thought I knew how to assess situations, how to spot red flags, how to do due diligence. Turns out I was great at it professionally, but terrible at it personally. I could evaluate a house, but I couldn't evaluate the man I was planning to marry. The open house incident became a story people told, the realtor who exposed her cheating fiancé at a company event. Some people thought it was brilliant. Others thought it was vindictive. I don't really care which. I did what felt right at the time. I made sure Sophie knew the truth, made sure Matt couldn't lie his way out of it, made sure there was a record of what he'd done. A year later, I'm doing okay, dating someone new, taking it slow, very slow. I verify everything now, probably to an annoying degree, but I'd rather be overly cautious than blindsided again. People ask if I'm glad I found out, if I think that open house confrontation was worth it. The answer is complicated. I wish I'd never been in that situation at all. I wish Matt had been honest. I wish I'd seen the signs earlier. But given that I was going to find out eventually, yes, I'm glad it happened before we were married, before we shared assets, before our lives were legally entangled. Sophie and I still talk occasionally. We're not close friends, but we're friendly. We share a weird bond. The only two people who really understand what it was like to be fooled by the same person, to think you're building a future while someone is actively dismantling it behind your back.
I learned something from all of this about trust, about relationships, about myself. I learned that you can do everything right and still get blindsided, that there's no foolproof way to protect yourself from someone who's determined to deceive you, and that sometimes the best thing you can do is refuse to stay silent, to shine the light on the truth, even when it's ugly and embarrassing and painful. Matt thought he could manage 2 lives indefinitely. He thought he was smart enough to keep all the pieces separate, but he forgot one crucial detail. I'm a realtor. I have access to records, to property listings, to public information. I know how to research, how to verify, how to find what's hidden. He tried to buy a house behind my back. Instead, he bought himself a disaster, and I made sure everyone saw it. That's my story. The fake house hunt, the double life, the open house exposure. People still talk about it. I'm fine with that. Let it be a warning to anyone thinking they can deceive their partner while planning a future with someone else. Eventually, the truth comes out, usually when you least expect it, and sometimes it comes out in front of 40 witnesses at a real estate seminar. I hope Sophie is doing well wherever she is. I hope she found someone worthy of her trust. As for me, I'm working on trusting again. It's hard, but I'm trying, and this time I'm doing much more thorough due diligence on the property and the person, because I've learned the hard way that you need to verify both before you sign anything, especially your heart.